I'd like to make this video to talk about an injury that I sustained a little over a year ago, especially because this injury appears to be pretty rare. I can find hardly anybody talking about it on Reddit and YouTube and otherwise. It is what's known as a PIP joint contracture, meaning on my right ring finger, I have lost the ability to extend my finger, even forcing. It's stuck in contraction state. Most people that have this deformity get it from either a Dupuytren's contracture, which is a genetic condition, or they have a boutonniere deformity, which is where there's goosenecking on the DIP joint, which results from a central slip injury on the dorsal side. Those are both a lot more common. The injury that I have is neither of those. It is a traumatic injury that we believe, we don't know for sure what caused it, but perhaps a tear on the volar plate that healed with scar tissue, causing that tendon to shorten. The way I got this injury was I was playing basketball and the net had disconnected from the hoop in a couple spots, so I was going to fix it. So my plan was jump up, grab the net, pull myself up to the rim so I could fix it. But when I jumped up to grab the net, due to the random configuration of it, a lot more of my body weight went into a few of my fingers, and I ended up spraining, I think, 5 or 6 of my fingers as a result. And I've had soft tissue injuries before. I'm a skater. If I roll my ankle, if I get a sprained ankle, I just let my body heal itself, and it's always worked just fine. But it turns out the fingers are quite a bit different. There's actually no muscles in your fingers and very little lymphatic system. So if you get swelling in your finger, it can last for years, literally. And the PIP joint, if you injure it and a contracture forms, the lateral bands that are usually dorsal on the top side of the finger, they can be pulled volarly, which actually causes the contracture to worsen. They make the situation even worse. So it's like a feedback loop where any contracture in this finger results in those collateral ligaments being pulled towards the palm, which actually recruits even more contracture, which pulls them even further down. So it's just a vicious feedback loop. So it turns out if you have like a volar plate tear or rupture, the best thing to do is to splint the finger completely straight for 2 to 6 months so that you don't develop the contracture in the first place. Once I had the contracture, it was about 2 or 3 months after the injury that I realized that I could not extend my finger anymore. So I went to a hand surgeon, and he prescribed first a program of serial splinting, which is where you splint the finger in progressively more and more extension. So you might splint it and then a week later do 10 degrees more, and then a week later 10 degrees more until you get it fully straight. The problem with this is that it puts so much pressure on the knuckle as it's trying to force your finger straight that it causes a ton of soft tissue damage. It can actually really mess up your central slip, which wasn't even damaged before. This is what happened to me. I had so much damage from the splints themselves that I had to stop them and discontinue them. At that point, what my hand surgeon wanted to do was an open release. So that is where they just cut you open and they take a best guess at which tendon is the problem. So maybe he thinks it's gonna be my volar plate. So then they'll just fucking cut the volar plate straight in half and then see if your finger straightens. And if not, whoopsie fucking daisies. So sorry about that additional life-changing injury I just gave you. let me try this tendon and then that tendon, and then let me cut the joint capsule a little bit until we can get this finger straight. So it is very primitive, it is barbaric, and it causes a lot of additional soft tissue injury and additional scarring, which can, depending on the studies you look at, I think in 40% of the time will actually result in a worse outcome than if you had never had the surgery done in the first place. So I kind of, did my research and told that surgeon to kick rocks. And then I found another surgeon. She was much more educated and intelligent on these matters. And she was very against most forms of open release. And what we're doing instead here is a type of external fixation. This is called a Digit Widget. And this inserts 2 skeletal pins into the middle phalanges right above the PIP joint. And then you can see there's a rubber band attached to a crane there. And this is a genius device because it still gives you the ability to use your hand for most things. Like I can still type, I can still use my hand as needed, while it is applying that gentle extension torque to, over the course of weeks or months, extend the tendons and the joint capsule, all the soft tissues that are involved. So in a way, it almost doesn't even matter which soft tissues are involved, they will be lengthened over time. I've only had the widget on for a few days, and it's already brought me from 60 degrees from straight to about 40 degrees from straight. I imagine that will slow down quite a bit over time, but I can adjust the strength of these rubber bands to kind of target about 10 degrees of improvement per week. Then my plan is, once I get it fully straight, I'll keep the widget on for a few additional weeks, just to let the soft tissues get used to that new position. Otherwise, if you take it off too soon, relapse can happen fairly quickly. And if there are any particularly insidious adhesions from the scar tissue, those might need to be released. We're hoping that's not the case. For me, we did rule out any kind of central slip injury via MRI. My second surgeon did. My first surgeon didn't do an MRI, which doesn't really make sense to me. But so we're pretty hopeful that this course of action should provide me with an additional range of motion. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments, and I will answer them based on my current knowledge. I'll probably post an update in a few weeks and just let you guys know how this has worked out for me.